Thank you, Ted. I feel like a news anchor here. First of all, thank you all for coming. Appreciate that. It's been a while since I've done a news conference here in this room, so I feel like it's brand new almost. Before we get started and formally introduce Koby Altman, I thought it would be a good idea actually to introduce some guys that have been here for, I don't know, years and years actually working in the front office. And so we really wanted the media and also the public and season ticket holders and supporters to understand how deep our front office is. And so there's 4 or 5 guys back there. I'm going to go through them one at a time because sometimes they don't get all the accolades and get credit for all the work that they've done over the years. And these are guys who grind it, who get it done every day, who are just about as smart as anybody I've ever met and work as hard as anybody. So there's 4 guys. I'm going to call you guys. It's okay. You guys back there? I can't see too well. Getting old, Okay. There's a gentleman, I think you know this guy because he was a local basketball star, but he is going to be the new assistant general manager here at the Cavaliers. He's been with us for 6 years. He's a Cleveland area native. He played basketball at West Virginia, set all kinds of records over there, played in Europe. He was with the G League, that was formerly known as the D League, now the G League. And as the Canton Charge general manager, he was also the G League Executive of the Year. He's a great talent evaluator. He's a great guy. He's a grinder. He understands basketball as well as anybody. He's played it his whole life. Has great insight and very, very smart and scouted for many years. So Mike Gansey, are you back there, Mike? There's Mike Gansey. Just stand up for 1 second. Don't be shy, Mike. Just for say hello. Okay? There you go. So that's Mike. Next to Mike, or I don't know if he's a couple seats over, it's a gentleman who's been with us for 12 years, since I was fortunate enough to buy the franchise. He started off as an intern. He's emerged over the 12 years to become probably one of the finer capologists in the league. I mean, he knows more about the cap than probably PricewaterhouseCoopers knows about the IRS code. I mean, this guy, he lives with the cap. He lives with the collective bargaining agreement. He's deep in it. He comes up with ideas and things that the league's never heard of. They have to go into their committees to check if it's okay or not, and he's sort of a savant with this. And he's now going to be, or he will be, the new senior director of basketball operations. He's a space creator. It means he creates space, not the kind of space in here, but the kind of space that Koby will need in the cap as far as that goes. He's involved in a lot of trades, probably every trade in the last few years. In a creative sense. He was instrumental in the New York Knicks trade. You remember that one? About a year and a half ago. And he's an Ohio native from some farm town near Toledo, Brock Aller. Say hi, Brock. Next guy up, been with us for 4 years. Originally from Miami, Florida, although he doesn't look like a guy from Miami, Florida. Went to Harvard, and I believe a stint at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, but graduated from Harvard. He's the senior director of analytics. Did a run with the Milwaukee Bucks, but he's been here again for 4 years. Numbers are his thing, metrics. There's not a stat or a number or an analytic that you can think of he won't come up with in like 7 minutes. And we've challenged him on it. And he works with the coaching staff to provide them with analytics, numbers, background, advanced metrics. But he doesn't just have that. He also has a great insight into people. John Nichols. John. Oh, John. And then last, certainly not least, he's in his 3rd year here. He will be the director of scouting. He's an Akron native. He's also going to lead on the college scouting. He's a relationship guy. He knows people in basketball from the college ranks up and through the pro ranks. He did play here at Walsh near Canton. He's very great. He's a very good cultural guy, but really understands the game and understands the people in the game and is connected to just about everybody you can imagine. And also a great talent evaluator, and that's Brandon Weems. Brandon, right back there. That worked out all right. Okay, good. Okay, so those are, and there's more. There's more hardworking guys here, but those are the 4 guys at sort of the senior level that are going to help Koby here. And Koby, just to give you some background in case you don't have it, I know there was a news release, but started out, he's in his 6th year here. Started off as the manager of pro player personnel, became the director of pro player personnel, and then became assistant general manager. He's a Brooklyn native, Brooklyn, New York, product of a single mom household. And he, again, I use this term grinded, but this guy grinded his whole life. He went to Middlebury College where he played basketball. That's in Vermont. actually received a leadership and academic scholarship to get into Middlebury. I'm told Middlebury is one of these East Coast schools that are, high academic type of thing over there. He's a 3-year starter as a point guard over there. And also, he has a long history, an extensive history of USA basketball, which is very, very important in today's world, and I'll let Koby talk about that in just a moment. Koby's a special guy. He's a relationship guy. He knows basketball. He's what I would call a guy who's street smart and book smart, and he's got both sides of the fence. And I've got to tell you, I'm as proud as I've ever been to name somebody a general manager. This is our 4th general manager in our ownership stint, and I never felt as well as I do, or as good as I do, and I think a lot of people share that sentiment. So Koby Altman here is a new general manager of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and one of the youngest general managers in the league, but age is a number, and I believe in Koby, and I think he's going to be here for a long time doing great things. So Koby, welcome. There you are.
Thank you very much, Dan. I'm humbled. I'm honored to be here. This is a very exciting time for me and for our group that was acknowledged in the back. I want to thank Dan Gilbert for believing in me, but really believing in our group that's been here. We have had unprecedented levels of success here the last 3 years. We've been to 3 straight finals. We won an NBA championship here, and a lot of that has to do with the group we have in place. We have a tremendous depth of talent here in the front office, and just like Dan talked about with our guys, highly intelligent, capable people that are motivated and driven every day, very process-oriented, and they know what it takes to be successful because we've done it before. We also have incredible depth of talent throughout the building. We have a great coaching staff led by Coach Lou. The back of the house, we have a great performance staff. And then we have great players. We return a great team. And so, me and Dan talk about it, but it's unfortunate sort of the narrative that's going on right now, in terms of where we're at. This thing is not broken. We are a very successful organization, and we're going to continue to drive for that success. Get better and grow. Obviously, adjustments need to be made every year, but I want us to be very prideful of where we are as an organization, and how good we've been and how good we'll continue to be. It's interesting. This is a promotion, and it's an incredible promotion. I'll thank you for that. But I've been here. I know this organization really well. This is going to be my 6th year here. I know the cast of characters really well. I've worked across all levels of this organization, and I have deep relationships across all levels of this organization. And I know I can now lead this organization because of that. But it's more of a belief that Dan has in us to continue the success that we've had. And I'm ready for that challenge. And with that, we will open it up for questions.
Tom Withers, Associated Press. Thanks, guys. Congratulations, Koby. Dan, it's been widely reported that Kyrie Irving is asked to be traded. First of all, what was your reaction to that? And then secondly, will you honor that request?
Well, as it's been widely reported, I sat down with Kyrie Irving and his agent a few weeks back. I don't know the exact date. And we do this, we try to do this every summer. And I think most of them we have. As we've done with other players and their agent, and whether their contract's coming up or not. And there was several scenarios discussed at that time, and I don't feel it's appropriate really get into the details of all those scenarios. And so, again, I don't know the sources of the report that there was a trade request made. I read it in the media like some of you reported and some of you read, but we talked about a wide range of possibilities in the future. At that time, we had not signed Koby yet as our general manager, and there were a few other moves, I believe, that have been made that weren't made at that time. So, these things are fluid. We think that Kyrie Irving is, one of the best guards in the NBA. He's part of a championship, 3 years straight to the finals, and, we value his talent. significantly. So
He's a core piece of what we've done. Kyrie's a tremendous player. He has made great contributions to this franchise, and we enjoy him as a player, and we're going to keep sort of the stuff in house in terms of what was said in those meetings. But he continues to be a core piece of who we are and what we do.
David Grenneman, ESPN. For Koby and Dan, if you're not going to get into those meetings, that's fair. What's happened in terms of the franchise communication with Kyrie since then? If you want to protect that information, okay, but where do things stand with Kyrie Irving?
Sure, we've had dialogue with his representation. It's a fluid situation and something that we're just not going to address right now.
Joe Varden, Cleveland.com. I have to ask straight up, do you intend to trade Kyrie?
I don't want to talk about that. Again, like I said to Dave, we've been in touch with his representation, and it's a fluid situation.
Jason Lloyd, The Athletic. Dan, as we were going through this with the GM situation, it was discussed many times over that no GM has ever gotten a second contract from you, and I'm curious why you think that is.
I haven't really thought of it in terms of a second contract. I actually have to think about that as you're saying that. So we've had 3 GMs here that have lasted an average of 4 years each, which is a presidential term. And I think these days that's 4 years is 4 years. And I never really looked upon it as why not a second contract. I will tell you that each time we've had different circumstances among whether or not Danny Ferry was here 5 years, and I think Chris Grant was here 3.5, and I think Griff was here a total of like 7 years, 3.5 of them being as general manager. So, today's world, information is moving faster than it's ever moved before, and this is just not in the NBA or in basketball, but inclusive of basketball. So you have information coming at you so fast, moving so fast, and more of it than you've had in the history of the world, really. And we always talk about this in our other businesses, and I think decisions and moves, big ones, have been made or are made quicker or faster than they used to be. Again, I'm not saying that's the exact reason or the only reason, but I think that it's things move faster, and this in a lot of our businesses, not just here, and in other people's businesses as well. And there's also people who are talented individuals who, if you look at somebody's resume and who's a talented person, they tend not to be at the same place. You can probably look at a lot of your guys' resumes, and probably most of you probably in the last X amount of years are probably more frequently moved than previous years, because industries change, things change, and that's part of sort of the overhang of, or the overview of why I think some of this happens. But I'll tell you what, I do feel extraordinarily positive about this team. I'm walking into this building here today, and the narrative, I guess, that our front office is in disarray. I mean, these guys 5 years ago, from the night that Griffin and I both just sort of decided that it didn't feel right moving forward. And it wasn't for, by the way, another thing I just want to make sure that I put out there, had nothing to do with money, had nothing to do with specific trades or players or anything like that. We just philosophically and culturally had a little bit different views of how things were going to go forward. And the team here that we have, the guys I introduced and other guys I haven't introduced, and Koby, it's a feeling. You go by feeling sometimes, you go by experience, and you go by knowledge and all that, but I do feel as strong as I've ever felt about a team. I think these guys have killed it in the last not 21, it's more than that now, 4 to 5 weeks. And I think they'll continue to kill it.
And Jason, to your question, like just taking a step back, these are tremendous opportunities, right? They're 1 of 30. If I told you 10 years ago when I started on this journey, when going back to UMass for sports management to get my advanced degree in that, if you told me 10 years from now I'd be sitting up here with Dan Gilbert as the general manager of Cavaliers, I would have told you you're crazy. These are unbelievable opportunities. They're great opportunities for us. We have a great team, and we're really excited to keep this thing moving forward. In terms of David Griffin, the biggest testament to him is he's got us all ready for this. He was a tremendous leader for us, and that's what he did. That's the best testament to him, is he has all of us ready for this challenge.
Terry Polito, Plain Dealer. Dan, you basically, you have at this key juncture there a rookie GM, and yeah, he's been here 6 years, but frankly, he's kind of number 3 in the pecking order. With whatever's going on with Kyrie Irving, obviously Kyrie has had all kinds of chances to deny he wanted to be traded, and instead he's posting videos. So, how do you, I guess what do you say to the fans to say, look, this thing is not, in real trouble here?
Well, how's your guys' summer going?
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Let me talk to that
yeah,
a little bit, Dan. So, another thing that no one's talked about during this whole process is our head coach, Coach T. Lue, who remains a rock and a huge cultural piece for this organization. He's a tremendous human being, but he's also just a relationships guy. Great relationships across the league, great relationships across our team. He's helped us immensely through this transition process with recruiting of free agents and making sure we've been stable. He's a great partner. He's a great coach. He has great instincts. He has great X's and O's. He has great rapport with players. The ATIOs, hat tip to David Minnan. He's incredible in game. But he's just been an incredible partner throughout this whole transition. And he's a great cultural piece for us, and that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed in terms of him. It hasn't changed in terms of our front office, the back of the house, the players. This is largely the same, and we're going to keep moving forward and get better and turn over every stone we can. But like I said before in my opening, this thing is not broken.
And I just want to add something to that, Terry, that, I have the luxury of comparing various businesses to each other. Clearly, the NBA is a unique, it's a unique animal, right? And you can only really play the cards that are dealt you. You don't control everything. I mean, nobody controls everything in every business, but particularly in this one, there's certain cards you get dealt, and you can't complain about the cards that are dealt. You just got to look and how can you best play them. And what you try to do is just you take your experience, you take any mistakes you've made in the past, try to learn from them, and you look at everything. You try to get the best people in the best positions, and get the team on the right path. And I believe we're going to be competing for championships for a long period of time. I really do, and especially this year coming up. And we're not done yet. I mean, we're not done yet. And I think, frankly, for a guy who wasn't even officially in the GM position, and we signed Derrick Rose. We're bringing over, Jetty Osman from Turkey, and we've got Jeff Green, and we keep working every single day. There's all kinds of possibilities. It's one thing you learn is you don't control everything. If you're making a trade, there's another team that has to agree to a trade. You can't say we want to trade or we want to do this without the other team agreeing. So you do your best to try to make that happen. But I think Koby will be particularly good at that when those opportunities come up.
One last thing, Dan. What happened with Chauncey Billups?
Well, first of all, we talked to Chauncey Billups, and we informally discussed the possibility of him being in this role. Chauncey's a great guy. He's a friend of mine. I've known him for a long period of time, and he and I both agreed that the timing was not right. This, again, was misreported. It's nothing to do with the money at all. I mean, for you guys to think that we're in this payroll tax or luxury tax to where we are, and we're going to worry about, relative. I don't want to ever say $1 million or $2 or $3 or whatever is not a lot of money, but relatively speaking, that's just our track record. That's not how we make decisions. So it had nothing to do with money, and I think that it was the right decision, frankly, for him and us. I think the timing's not right. I think it will be. I think one day Chauncey Billups will probably be a great instrumental front office person somewhere. But just with everything going on here, it wasn't the right time.
2017 Cavs Academy summer camps are set to tip off. Improve your game and develop your basketball skills with the official Cavaliers youth basketball development coaching team. Week-long Cavs camps are located throughout Ohio and Pennsylvania for boys and girls ages 5 to 14 of all skill levels. All athletes will receive expert instruction, individual player evaluations, and a Cavs Academy uniform and basketball. Campers will have the chance to showcase their abilities at the end of camp skills competition. Register today at Cavs.com/Cavs Academy.